Honoring her memory, how loved ones of a local teen track star killed in a wreck are remembering her this evening. Protecting your pets and the sensitive humans in your life, what to keep in mind as people start setting off fireworks ahead of the July 4th holiday. Did that sensitivity training really take at Starbucks over racial sensitivity? 4 in your corner following up. 4 in your corner coverage starts right now.
Live from the station that's in your corner. You're watching Fox 4 News at 6.
Facing the death penalty, the state attorney's office announcing late this afternoon it will seek the death penalty against this woman accused of murdering a woman in Lee County back in April. If Lois Ann Reese, seen here, is convicted, she'll be among the very few women on Florida's death row. She's accused of first murdering her husband up in Minnesota, then driving to Fort Myers Beach, where prosecutors say she killed the tourist Pamela Hutchinson to steal her money and her identity. Reese was arrested eventually in South Texas.
The way Brooke was, it's like it was energy. You couldn't stop. It was like a superstar.
A superstar tonight, a former coach, friends and loved ones mourning a Collier County teenager who died after a crash over the weekend. The crash also injured 3 other girls. And thank you so much for being with us tonight. I'm Patrick Nolan. 16-year-old Brooke Rice was seriously hurt when the vehicle she was riding in with 3 of her friends rolled over on Livingston Woods Lane in North Naples on Saturday night. Brooke later died at the hospital. 4 in your corner's Carl Fortier spoke with a former track coach of Brooke's who remembers her as a fountain of energy. Carl?
Well, her former coach Jermaine Washington says Brooke Rice was a track star at St. John Newman who accomplished a lot in her short life. It was cut tragically short in this weekend's crash, and now her friends, teammates, and school are grieving along with her family.
She really liked to win, man. It was you won't ever probably see nothing like that in a long time.
Track coach Jermaine Washington remembers 16-year-old Brooke Rice as a fountain of energy who tackled life as if nothing was impossible.
I came to her, was like, can you triple jump for me, which is one of the hardest events probably in the world. Not even hesitation. I'll do it, coach.
Brooke was riding in a vehicle with 3 other girls Saturday night when it suddenly swerved off of Livingston Woods Lane and rolled over in a ditch. All 4 girls were hurt and taken to hospitals, but Brooke later died from her injuries.
I heard through a former player of mine, and I was kind of numb.
Monday morning, Brooke's family, friends, and classmates gathered for a candlelight vigil in her honor at St. John Newman High School, trying their best to heal from their loss.
In her short life, she made an impact, and she certainly was somebody who Newman High School was very proud of.
I just pretty much walked up to the parents and held them tight as I could for a while, and it was a blessing.
Washington says while he may have been Brooke's coach, he's determined to learn from her and live life to the fullest.
Be fearless. That's one thing, Brooke, I remember. Just her attacking everything in life, her smiling, her saying, "Let's go, coach, we got this."
And coming up tonight at 10 o'clock, Lisa Greenberg is speaking with Brooke Rice's family on how they're coping with their daughter's loss. In Collier County, Carl Fortier, Fox 4, in your corner.
4 in your corner, keeping an eye on your weather right now, and we can hear the rain coming down at our studios in Northwest Cape Coral.
Probably can hear some of that thunder too. We get a pretty good storm here at the station and a lot of locations right along the west of I-75 right now. Here's that look at that radar, Patrick. You can see where the storms are occurring now. Some of the heaviest now into western Charlotte County and into the northern portions of Lee County. You can see them tracking westward towards Pine Island. So these storms now affecting the North Cape here at the station, and they're going to be heading westward towards Pine Island shortly. Other big storms moving out of southern portions of Lee County. It's been raining and thundering and lightning in the Bonita Springs area, Fort Myers Beach, all the way down towards northern Collier County. These storms out in Glades County, though, are starting to wind down just a little bit. So storm chances will continue, particularly near the coast this evening. Otherwise, skies tonight will be partly cloudy and it'll be humid. We've got more on the way for your forecast for tomorrow and for the 4th of July. We'll have the latest on that coming up.
Busted in Cape Coral, a man accused of driving drunk right into his wife's car. Police say Donnie Ray Crecelius followed the victim to her new address from work, and she says when she arrived, she saw him pulling up right next to her. She says she was backing up when Donnie blocked her car in the road. Police say he tried to punch her and actually pull her out of the car, but failed in doing so. So he got back into his truck and drove right down the street, turned around and deliberately drove into the victim's car head on. on. Getting more time tonight, FEMA has extended the deadline for temporary housing for hurricane evacuees for the 8th time after a federal judge's ruling. The deadline has been extended until Thursday, July 5th now. Congressman Darren Soto of South Florida and his staff have visited local hotels to inform them of that change and praised managers for being patient with the update.
And even Puerto Rico is part of U.S., so I'm a migrant, so I tell myself, you help first your own house, then worry about the world. So they should help them.
The lead attorney involved says they're working to sort families into permanent housing and stop this week-to-week uncertainty. An immigrant mother and daughter separated after crossing the border, reunited in Miami. Buenaventura Godinez Martin hadn't seen her 7-year-old daughter in nearly 2 months. Godinez Martin was fleeing gang violence in Guatemala. She entered the U.S. with her 10-month-old son in May to seek asylum. They were detained together. And then days after Godinez Martin was released from detention, her husband crossed the border with their daughter, who's seen here. The father and daughter were separated under the Trump administration's zero-tolerance immigration policy. More than 2,000 kids have been taken from their parents under that policy. The family is now waiting to hear from immigration officials about their asylum requests. Happening tonight, a foreign terror attack planned for the 4th of July, foiled by federal law enforcement. The FBI arrested this man, Demetrius Nathaniel Pitts, who's charged with attempted material support to a foreign terrorist organization. They say the attack was planned for downtown Cleveland. Investigators say Pitts first ended up on the FBI's radar in 2017 after he started expressing hatred for the military and a desire to dismember bodies. Pitts was allegedly surveilling the area when law enforcement arrested him.
He talked about taking targets like St. John's Cathedral off the map. And just yesterday, he discussed giving remote control cars packed with explosives and shrapnel to the children of our military uniform members.
This case illustrates that law enforcement, of course, cannot sit back, in this case, wait for Mr. Pitts to commit a violent act.
Mr. Pitts is also accused of planning an attack in Philadelphia, where he used to live before Cleveland. Taking a dip in the community pool, an alligator takes a stop at a Southwest Florida pool. Also making an unexpected visit to a pool, a man in a car. What the family who owns the pool says the driver told them. But first, a close call and second-degree burns. What exploded in a woman's purse that injured 2 people? We'll show you next on Fox 4 News at 6.
We cannot accept the fact that we have agents going to City of Immaculate, East Naples, Golden Gate City.
Families belong together. That's the message behind the rallies being held all across the country today, including one right here in Southwest Florida. Hundreds of people gathering on the steps of the Collier County Courthouse to protest the current immigration policies. And thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Lisa Greenberg. 4 in Your Corner's Karis Belger talked to people who immigrated to the U.S. who are making their voices heard at this rally.
And it was the most heartbreaking experience of my life. The moment my father was taken away from me.
Jessica's parents came to the U.S. from Mexico, like many other immigrants, seeking a better life for themselves and their families. She said her dad was taken away during a traffic stop years ago, but is thankfully now free.
They came here to provide for their children.
She's seen and heard the stories of the recent raids in places like Immokalee, and she's hoping her story will inspire others to act.
It's wrong. It's completely wrong.
Her words towards the zero-tolerance immigration policy, which recently left thousands of children separated from their families at the border between the United States and Mexico. And she's not the only one using her story to shed some light.
My brother, my sister, and I just being a baby. It took her 4 years to come back and get us.
Yuli says she and her siblings were separated from their mother when she left their country to get away from an abusive relationship. The time it took her to come back to them made longer by the immigration process.
What I wanted to get across is what my family has gone through and why I feel this is so close to me.
She says the immigration discussion happening here and across the country affects everyone.
It doesn't matter if you're brown or if you're black. You need to speak out and speak out against injustice.
And she, like the others here, are hoping making their voices heard will lead to more families being reunited.
These people are already into the fabric of our nation, and we must accept that.
Karis Belger, Fox 4, in your corner.
Now, Yuli also told Karis she hopes this rally and others like it will push people to vote in the upcoming August primary. Another similar protest happening in Texas outside Fort Worth's Tarrant County Courthouse. Again, these rallies are being held in cities all across the country, from New York City all the way to Los Angeles. Demonstrators protested Trump's zero tolerance policy. Since it was enacted, officials say more than 2,300 families have been separated at the border.
I'm just protesting with my family. You know, it's a whack policy. I don't think that families should be separated. It's not like that. It's not supposed to be like this. If I was separated from my family and the people I loved, I don't know what I would do. Like, it's probably the worst thing that could happen to me. You know, and these children are living in it.
You can see even young people coming out to get involved. Now, though the Trump administration did sign a bill stopping this immigration policy, there's no clear system set to reunite those families. Meanwhile, an angel mother is talking about what she went through, the devil in the details when it comes to losing loved ones at the hands of an immigrant, an illegal immigrant. The term angel moms refers to mothers who've lost children in situations involving illegal immigrants. Courtney Hacking lost her husband, Peter, as well as her 4-year-old daughter, Ellie, and 22-month-old son, Grayson, when an illegal immigrant hit their car head-on. This was in 2016. Hacking says there's little balance in reporting when people are victimized at the hands of illegal immigrants, and citizens end up taking a back seat to those catering to the needs of illegal immigrants.
What they don't think about is that we are in America, and every day parents are separated from their children permanently by actions that are often caused by the people, those very people who are here illegally to begin with. So we see one side of the story, but we don't see the other.
Now, 35-year-old Margarito Quintero Rosales pleaded guilty to 3 counts of criminally negligent homicide in those deaths and was given a 2-year sentence with time served. He also pleaded guilty to a federal charge of re-entry of a deported alien. You hear that or see a lot of that today? We had some here at Fox 4. Lots of rain and cloudy skies to kick off this weekend. This, as you could say, 4th of July weekend. This video was taken outside the Fox 4 studios on Pine Island Road in Cape Coral. And I'm in the Weather Center with Storm Shield meteorologist Tony Sadiku, who says those rain chances will be back tomorrow.
Yeah, you had a lot of hours like that here across Southwest Florida where it was just dark, cloudy, periods of showers and storms, and really hard to dodge some of those showers as you're making some of those outdoor plans on your Saturday, maybe making it a difficult beach day out there. Here's another look at those showers and storms rolling on through for the past several hours. Picked up a decent amount of rain out there in the Cape, close to 3 inches out there along, say, Pine Island, northern sections. Fort Myers getting into 2 inches or so. Best coverage today looks to be along the coast. We did see some decent downpours near Mcclendon and just to the east of Naples as well. I do think rain chances are going to be back in the picture. Nothing going on right now, but an air low pressure we're watching out there in the Gulf is certainly keeping our weather unsettled. So decent shot of rain expected, not only for your Sunday, but all the way through the 4th of July. I'll have the details of the forecast in just a bit.
Keep your hands in the air for me. Hands in the air. Right there.
Chilling video. A woman visiting the dentist ended up capturing this video of the terrifying moments after Thursday's deadly mass shooting. This was at the Capital Gazette in Annapolis. Marjorie Rock, who shot this video, says she also saw people bringing both the shooter in handcuffs and a body from the upstairs window. And tonight we're hearing from the daughter of one of the victims of that terrible shooting in that Maryland newsroom. Wendy Winters, a reporter at the Capital Gazette, was killed in Thursday's shooting. Her daughter, Winters Geimer, says she was well known for her youthful personality and her stories about people in the community. She said Wendy moved to Annapolis from New York 20 years ago and remembers her as an amazing mother.
My mother was doing her job and they were all doing their job, and this is a tragedy. We're just still trying to process this. I still almost feel like she's gonna come home late, like usual.
Now, Friday, a judge ordered the shooting suspect to be held without bond. A state's attorney said Jared Ramos barricaded the back entrance of that newsroom before the shooting so people weren't able to escape. Retirement for U.S. Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy is just over a month away. President Trump says the nation won't have to wait long, though, to see his pick for the vacancy. He says he plans to pick someone who can serve on the bench for decades and plans to announce his pick July 9th in time to get a Senate vote on his nominee before November's midterm election. But some of his fiercest opponents are now preparing for battle.
Outside of war and peace, of course, the most important decision you make is the selection of a Supreme Court judge, if you get it. And as you know, there have been many presidents that never got a choice.
No one makes it to the Supreme Court without going through the United States Senate. And in the United States Senate, everyone has a vote.
Now, Democratic leaders still pointing to the events of 2016 when they claim Mitch McConnell and the Republican-led Judiciary Committee stole President Obama's opportunity to fill a court seat left vacant by Antonin Scalia's, passing. A wild watch party. The reaction leads to major upsets. A recap of the first day for the final 16 teams in the World Cup coming up. And is that cocaine in your pocket? What deputies say this man tried to do to avoid being arrested after some erratic driving. But first, stalking a student. The extreme lengths this professor you see on your screen went to try to win over a student. It's next on Fox 4 News at 10. Guards out of Florida jail are on, to be frank, duty. That's right. They're monitoring the bathroom habits of an inmate charged with stealing and swallowing $700 diamond earrings. Investigators say he took the earrings, but he couldn't pay for them, and he replaced them with fake ones. Police say an x-ray revealed the stolen earrings were in his stomach, so he was taken to a jail cell without a toilet until he passes that evidence. And a Collier County deputy says he pulled over Arturo Sosa, who you see on your screen here, for reckless driving, only to find out he had cocaine with him in the car. Deputies say when they pulled Sosa over, he made a motion like he was stuffing something underneath his behind. Deputies asked Sosa to step out of the car, and when they did, they say there was a baggie, a small one, of cocaine where he had been sitting. He's now charged with possession of cocaine. All right, looks exciting, right? Argentina definitely had a lot to cheer about during today's match against France, but it was for naught. The contender and its highly regarded Leo Messi were sent packing from the World Cup today after what must have been a crushing loss. Not only did Argentina lose, but Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo also saw the end of their FIFA run. It really was a double upset of a day. France took out Argentina 4-3, and later in the day, Uruguay took Portugal to task and came out on top, winning 2-1. Both contending teams saw what was likely a crushing defeat, and the start of the finals has proven anything is possible in this World Cup. And coming up, as the top 16 turns into the quarterfinals, Spain will face off against Russia at 10 a.m. Eastern. Then at 2 p.m., Croatia and Denmark will take to the pitch. The World Cup is drawing to a close, though, so make sure to tune into Fox 4 tomorrow and every day of FIFA so you don't miss out on any of the action. It sure has been an exciting one. Dumping data, why the National Security Agency is getting rid of millions of records they had on file, plus holiday travel spiking right now, just how much preparation the TSA needed before the 4th of July.
It really hurts me and breaks my heart because I know that he's crazy. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's lost his mind.
A Cape Coral family in pain, their loved one seen here, danced around a bonfire holding a knife, and they became especially concerned when he broke a window trying to burn family pictures and the ashes of the family's dog. Thanks for being with us. I'm Patrick Nolan. As 4 in Your Corner's Michael Cadigan shows you, the man's mother and sister say his case points to our community's need for supportive mental health services.
Family members say John Hennessy spent Friday night dancing around a bonfire he sparked as part of his summer solstice ritual.
And he was screaming nonsense that he always screams in another language. I don't know what he was saying.
Heather Hennessy says her brother flung a rock into a window.
I woke up to my mom screaming, and I ran in there and her window was bashed in.
Heather ran when her mother was screaming.
And he was trying to bash it in, and he tried about 3 or 4 times, and then finally he smashed it through with this big glass vase. And I was standing right there on the other side, and that's how I got the cut on my eye.
Heather says she watched her brother reach in to grab pictures, even trying to get a hold of their dead dog's ashes so he can offer them as tribute.
And he was like burning everything, and I didn't even realize he was naked until the cops got here.
Police struggled to bring John down.
There was like 4 cops, and they all tased him, and it wasn't even phasing him. He didn't even fall at first.
Eventually, her brother did fall right into the flames.
He fell into the fire, and they were like screaming, "Get him out of the fire, get him out of the fire," and they pulled him out.
Seeing what happened to John, the 2 women who love him the most think Friday's fire is Exhibit A on the need for more resources that should help people struggling with mental illness.
He needs a doctor, not a guard. I love him, and I wish he would get help. He needs to realize that he needs medication. He needs something.
Michael Cadigan, Fox 4, in your corner.
His mom and sister also tell Michael that his behavior seems to become more erratic since he returned from his last treatment in rehab. He is currently in the Lee County Jail tonight. Breaking right now on Fox 4 News at 11, a deadly accident on 75 shutting down a number of lanes of traffic. We're giving you a live look right now. This is at mile marker 158, just north of Tucker's Grade in Charlotte County. And you can see the overturned vehicle, that white vehicle in the center of your screen. On the right-hand side of your screen, the emergency vehicles. But you can see traffic is continuing to flow, although some lanes are closed down. Again, this is affecting north and southbound in this area of Charlotte County. We'll keep you posted on fox4now.com. 4 people hurt when a weekend party in Punta Gorda ended with gunfire. Happened at Harbor Heights Civic Association in Punta Gorda early yesterday. Party guests fled the scene as Charlotte County Sheriff's deputies got there. 4 in your corner spoke with a man living by the center who says the shooting does not come as a surprise, considering how late some of the parties go on and that they often involve alcohol.
If there's going to be a shooting, like when they said I'm not the least bit surprised.
Detectives are still investigating the shooting tonight. They're asking anyone with information to please come forward. Call Crime Stoppers at 800-780-TIPS. And again, you can remain anonymous and be eligible for a cash reward. Also happening tonight, one of 3 suspects killed during a violent home invasion. St. Petersburg police now looking for the other 2 suspects. Detectives have identified the dead man as Corey Mcclendon. Police say 3 men forced their way inside the home, Mcclendon being one of them, where 3 men were inside. Gunfire was exchanged. One of the intruders was shot dead. Neighbors in the area say they fear living in their own neighborhood.
It makes me don't want to live in the neighborhood because I got little kids of my own, and that can happen anybody, any place, anytime.
St. Pete police say the attack does not appear to have been random, and the 2 brothers living inside the home were both hurt during that invasion. Now police are working to learn everything they can about exactly what led up to that attack. 24-year-old Maria Antonio Jose is now facing additional charges of aggravated manslaughter of a child and aggravated child abuse after a baby died from its injuries sustained under her supervision. Deputies say Miss Antonio Jose was watching her friend's baby on May 15th. She called the mother saying the baby had choked on milk and wasn't breathing, but doctors told a different story, saying the baby suffered a traumatic injury inconsistent with what Antonio Jose had described. That baby died on June 19th. The original child abuse charge has now been stepped up because of that death. Finally, some fines. Fed up and frustrated over trash problems in Cape Coral, the city could soon take action against Waste Pro. 4 in your corner's Jasmine Miner broke this story for you based on your concerns you brought us, and she's continuing to ask the tough questions to the city about the trash company.
We hear you.
Garbage is hot, so you have flies
every
everywhere.
Tuesday. Escape my house.
Killed our grass.
Just the smell.
Keep putting it out there, hoping this week it'll go.
What is it going to take to fix the issues? No pickups, trash left out?
We have to give them an opportunity to fix the problem.
When 4 in your corner first broke the story of Waste Pro issues, Waste Pro blamed the skip trash pickup on construction.
Trash trucks can't get down our road, obviously, so they'll go ahead and skip.
After that story aired, frustrated neighbors called, Facebooked, and emailed similar stories. Today, the city admitted a spike in complaints, saying, quote, For the first 7 years, there were minimal issues with performance of Waste Pro. Adding in the past few months, the complaints have escalated. That is why we may need to consider fines now. But Four in Your Corner found the current contract, and it clearly states performance measures with hefty fines in place. And now, the city said today it's considering fining the company. Waste Pro, on the other hand, gave us this statement: "We look forward to resolving these issues and to providing solid waste services." The city's contract with Waste Pro was up in 2020, and the city tells me it will consider breaking that contract. Jasmine Miner, Fox 4 in Your Corner.
Now, Jasmine did request some on-camera interviews with Waste Pro today to get you some answers. They said they can only respond with written statements, and they declined any interviews. You can expect Four in Your Corner to continue to push for answers. If you see a change in your service, let us know.
Not that we aren't doing it every day, but today in particular is National Love Your Pet Day. Scaly, furry, feathered friends got some extra love today, including our Fox 4 friends. We have Charlie there. That's my Uno, the little fur baby. We are going backwards here, so there's some awesome fish. I know that's Onyx. That's our producer Amanda's cutie little dog, and all kinds of others. And I think we need some explanation here. If you want to see these, you can go to the gallery of pet pictures that you submitted today. It's on fox4now.com. Patrick, what is that? Is that?
I have a pet bear. Now, I've changed his name because you can do that. So
is it still Pinky?
It's not Pinky anymore. It's Hydra.
As in?
Because one of our coworkers said this is Hydration Bear, because you know I'm always reminding people to stay hydrated. So it's just Hydra now. It's also
Isn't that
not
one of the monsters
it's
of
not
the
a
Odyssey?
possibly.
We got to get him a goldfish.
I'm good.
Something.
I like my pig.